Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Um, yeah, so we've reached the sixth singularity, Camelot, and I got mixed. I got mixed. I was like, and I'm still speechless. Um, like like in last video when I said I was gonna start doing Camelot. In the comments, my friend Sina was like, "Hey, yo, this singularity is gonna bump up in difficulty," and I was thinking to myself like, "Oh, man, it might not. This man is just pulling my leg. It can't be that hard." I go into like the first like questing to like read the stuff and then give you all my opinions so far, but when I log in, the two persons I okay. So before we talk about that, let's talk about the story first. So as you start Camelot, you get like a bit more like background information on Mash and Doctor. You're learning about her like past and stuff. You get to you get to learn like her full name. Mash is it starts with her last name starts with a K. It's like Mash something, but it starts with a K. Anyways, you get to learn more on like Mash's background. You get to see like her like flashbacks and stuff. But one thing like you find out is that Mash is like, I guess, slowly dying. That's how I interpret the story. That Mash is slowly dying. That she doesn't have enough time left. So maybe she might die like towards the end of like one of these singularities. But this is the first. I wouldn't say this is the first time, because as you're like moving through singularities, you know that Mash is like isn't feeling too well. She's tired, exhausted. But she tries her hardest. But she's really tired, and you find out that the headquarters, like where you guys work at, I guess like the founders or the top head people were experimenting on like with humans. Like they wondered if you could like fuse like servants or like heroic spirits into like normal humans. And from what I figured out, most of them kicked the bucket really early, except Mash. But Mash is starting like to feel those effects, and the doctor's like, well, like, you know what I'm trying to like, you know what I'm trying to say, right? And you're like, what in the like what in the but anyways, I'm really surprised. So I'm to some extent kind of worried to see what's gonna happen with like Mash, or I'm kind of wondering like how many singularities are left, because the game is hinting at that Mash is like going to die or is slowly gonna die. So that was kind of pain. And then also, before you can launch into the singularity, Da Vinci is like, hey, yo, let me join in. So you're like, all right. Did we get teleported into like the place? Also, before you get teleported, and then you get jumped by the monsters, which I'm gonna talk about a little bit later on. But before you like you cut back to like a Mash Da Vinci, and you go landing into the singularity. um you whatchamacallums you um you oh yeah, you meet the round table, which is, I guess, it's gonna be like the organization or the main people where you might fight. We get introduced to these two new characters. I guess this knight, this other red haired dude, and this like black evil looking knight, and Mordred. Mordred is back, and I was like, hey, yo, that's cool. And then you get also introduced to a fifth member of this group called the Round Table, with all these previous people I mentioned. And one of there's a woman. She looks like Egyptian style. Forgot her name, but she's like, you know what? I'm gonna depart. You know, like yeah, this here where we're at, it's pretty bussin'. You know, certified fresh. You know, um, but she was like, yeah, you know what? It's not that I don't want to. It's just like you know what? It's not my style to stay here. I wanted to go and explore, and you know, they were like, I, you know, you could leave. And then they were also talking about a king. Mordred was like, yo, we should backstab her, you know, but then what the other two knights are like, you know what, just leave her alone. And then Mordred is like, you know what, you're right, she's probably gonna die in the sands, you know. And then the knights, well, there's a knight that's like black, so I'm assuming he might be like the main villain, but they also keep mentioning a king during that conversation, so maybe he's like the pre-villain, the appetizer, and then the the um, the king is gonna be the main villain. Anyways, yeah. So that's so far about what I've learned. I'm assuming that as we finish like the first fights in this new singularity, that Egyptian like woman, the Egyptian servant is gonna come and like help us, and then we're gonna explain because they also talked about a prophecy of like people coming, and I assume we, Da Vinci, Mash, and us, we're the prophecy. So I'm not sure if the king is afraid of us or don't know yet, but that's so far. So far, it's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. The beginning of the story really caught my interest. You know, a bit worried. I want to see what happens with Mash. I want to see what Mordred is doing because we're talking about a king. So well, there's multiple kings throughout history, but the main one I'm thinking right now about king is like King Arthur. So you know, and maybe also king since it's like in Jerusalem. Maybe Gilgamesh, you know, because it's also like in Egypt. So you know, maybe Gilgamesh is the king. But yeah, really excited. You know, really excited to see what the singularity has for us. Anyways, back to the main focus. So the reason we're doing these like the old like extra side quests from North America is because I cannot beat the first mission of the singularity. Like it's been I tried 5 attempts, you know. All right, my class already finished like 30 minutes ago. I decided to hop on, make a video, you know. And oh my god, as I was saying, my friend Sina High was like, you know what? It's gonna ramp up in difficulty. You can't unga bunga this anymore. And I was like, man, he's pulling my leg, man. He's pulling my leg. But I go in, and the first two like bosses are like 30 HP bosses. And then I'm like, oh my god. And then the second boss is a 70 HP bosses, which made me use all my skills and stuff. And then I did like one last like the last one I did before this. I would have won, but the last like enemy from the first like part of this the first the quest. He had 100 HP. He's a knight. I had my Gorgon, a Santa Nightingale, and one my friend Sina High's archer servant. Nightingale died. Nightingale died, but I was able to like give the attack buff to all my units, and then my Sina High's like servant got hit once, and I was like, okay, if he attacks a Gorgon, I can use all my the remaining or Sina's skills to hopefully kill the like the boss. But no, it attacks my friend Sina's servants. I was like, what in the? And it already had his normal phantasm, so I was like, oh god. But my Gorgon is Gorgon. was still alive. So she was able also to get her a noble phantasma, which did land, but which left the person at 1,000 HP. And since I didn't have any skills to like evade or like heal myself, I died. So it's like, what in the? I was like, what in the? So yeah, so like basically right now, this is like exactly what happened. Not really, because um, my friend servant's like totally botting this unit, this enemy. But God, I got mixed. My mans wasn't lying. Before this, I also wanted to like upgrade my Gale, but I checked where my friend Saina told me, and it's for some reason it's locked, or maybe I'm just dumb and I can't find the stuff that I need to do. But that's that. I also was able to upgrade my Mash's skills, so right now she's a 777. My Gil I think is a 4-2. Yeah, it's a 4-2. And the rest I don't know. But he wasn't playing around. This next Singularity is gonna cook me. But anyways, those are my thoughts so far on the Singularity. Hope I'm gonna go in again after this. Try and beat it. But yeah, so far this Camelot has really caught my interest. Know a lot. I'm expecting a lot for this. Maybe this could be one, probably my top three favorite Singularities. Who knows? But I will try this again. And yeah, see you in a later video. Thank you for all the support.